Management Information System. My name is Maribel C. Coronacion, student, Master in Business Administration, Taguig City University. And our topic for today is IT Infrastructure and Emerging Technologies. Number 1. What is IT infrastructure and what are the stages and drivers of IT infrastructure evolution? Number 2. What are the components of IT infrastructure? Number 3. What are the current trends in computer hardware platforms? Number 4. What are the current computer software platforms and trends? Number 5. What are the challenges of managing IT infrastructure and management solutions? Today, be discussing I will be discussing number 4 and number 5. Number 4, what are the current computer software platforms and trends? There are four major themes in contemporary software platform evolution. We got open source software and Linux, Java, HTML and HTML5, web services and service-oriented architecture, and software outsourcing and cloud services. Open source software and Linux. Open source software is free and can be modified by users. It is not restricted to any specific operating system or hardware technology, although most open source software is currently based on Linux or Unix operating system. Open source software is a software with source code that anyone can expect, modify, and enhance. Source code is the part of the software that most computer users don't ever see. It is the code computer programmers can manipulate to change how a piece of software, a program, or application works. Programmers who have access to computer program source code can improve the program by adding features to it or by fixing parts that don't always work correctly. The most well-known open source software is Linux, an operating system related to Unix. Linux was created by the Finnish programmer Linus Torvalds and first posted on the internet in August 1991. Linux applications are embedded in cell phones, smartphones, tablet computers, and consumer electronics. Added offer software samples are Mozilla Firefox, a pre-customizable internet browser which offers thousands of plugins that are accessible with a single click of your mouse, BLC Media Player, a free multimedia player that is used for video, media, and audio files, Python, a pre-common programming and scripting language used by custom software developers. Java, HTML, and HTML5. Java is an operating system independent processor independent, object-oriented programming language created by Sun Microsystems that has become the leading interactive programming environment for the web. The Java platform has migrated into mobile phones, smartphones, automobiles, music players, game machines, and set-top cable television systems servicing interactive content and pay-per-view services. Java developers can create small applet programs that can be embedded in web pages and downloaded to run a web browser. Java is a popular programming language that is used to develop mobile apps, web apps, desk apps, and games. HTML or Hypertext Markup Language is a page description language for specifying how text, graphics, video, and sound are placed on a web page and for creating dynamic links to other web pages and objects. Using this link, a user need only point at a highlighted keyword or graphic, click on it, and immediately be transported to another document. The next evolution of HTML is called HTML5. It makes embedding images, audios, videos, and other elements directly into a document possible without processor-intensive add-ons. Both HTML and HTML5 are hypertext markup languages primarily used to develop web pages or applications. HTML5 is the latest version of HTML. HTML5 supports audio and video controls with the use of audio and video tags, allows the drag and drop effects, and works in new browsers like Firefox, Mozilla, Chrome, and Safari. HTML didn't support audio and video without the use of Flash Player support. That does not allow drag and drop effects and works with old browsers. Web services and service-oriented architecture. Web services are set of loosely coupled software components that exchange information with each other using in universal web communication standards and languages. Different applications can use web services to communicate with each other in a standard way without time-consuming custom coding. The foundation technology for web services is the XML, or Extensible Markup Language, which is developed in 1996 by the World Wide Web Consortium as a more powerful and flexible markup language than HTML for web pages. Service-oriented architecture, also known as SOA, is a set of self-contained services that communicate with each other to create a working software application. Rent-A-Car service uses web services to provide a standard intermediate layer of software to talk to other companies' information system. Rent-A-Car can use this set of web services to link to other companies' information system without having to build a separate link to each firm's system. Software outsourcing and cloud services. There are three external sources for software. Software packages from commercial software vendor, outsourcing custom application development to an external vendor, which or may not be offshore and cloud-based software services and tools. A software package is a pre-written, commercially available set of software programs that eliminates the need for a firm to write its own software programs for certain functions such as payroll processing or order handling. Large-scale enterprise software systems provide a single integrated worldwide software system for firms at a cost much less than they would pay if they develop it themselves. When we say packages, we mean a group of executable preforming its unique functions but interrelated. That is, you could possibly access another related software from the one you are working on if they are in the same package. Example is the Microsoft Office, which includes the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, OneNote, Publisher, and Access. Software outsourcing enables a firm to conduct custom software development or maintenance of existing legacy programs to outside firms which often operate offshore in low-wage areas of the world. Offshore software outsourcing firms have primarily provided lower-level maintenance, data entry, and call center operations. Software outsourcing helps cover the lack of internal resources or expertise to support your business growth and digital transformation initiatives by delegating the responsibility for all or a part of software development activities to a vendor. Cloud-based software and data uses a hosted on powerful servers in data centers and can be accessed with an internet connection and standard web browser. Enterprise software and other complex business functions are available as services for the major commercial software vendors. Instead of buying and installing software programs, subscribing companies rent the same function from these services with users paying either on subscription or per transaction basis. Microsoft 365, which we now formerly known as Office 365, is the cloud-based service that requires a monthly or annual subscription to access all the Microsoft tools and apps hosted on Microsoft servers, including online versions of Microsoft Office, so there is no need to install it on your PC physically. Individual users and entire companies mix and match software components to create their own customized application and to share information with others. The resulting software applications are called mashups. Web mashups combine the capabilities of two or more online applications to create a kind of hybrid that provide more customer value than the original sources alone. A mashup in web development is a web page or web application that uses content from more than one source to create a single new service displayed in a single graphical interface. For example, a user could combine the addresses and photographs of their library branches with Google Maps to create a map mashup. Apps are small specialized software programs are application software that are designed for mobile devices like smartphones and tablets. They are downloaded from app stores like Apple App Store and Google Play. Apps provide a streamlined non-browser pathway for users to perform a number of tasks. Most large online retailers have apps for consumers researching buying goods and services online. Lazada Shopping and Deals is an app that lets you search, buy, and sell all sorts of products in Southeast Asian countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Taiwan, and Vietnam. Topic number 5. What are the challenges of managing IT infrastructure and management solutions? Creating and managing a coherent IT infrastructure raises multiple challenges, which include dealing with platform and technology change, including cloud and mobile computing, management and governance, and making wide infrastructure investment. As firms grow, they often quickly outgrow their infrastructure. As firms shrink, they can get stuck with excessive infrastructure purchased in better times. Scalability refers to the ability of a computer, product, or system to expand to serve a large number of users without breaking down. New application mergers and acquisitions and changes in business volume all affect computer workload and must be considered when planning hardware capacity. A long-standing issue among information system managers and CEOs has been the question of who will control and manage the firm's IT infrastructure. Each organization will need to arrive at answers whether departments and divisions have the responsibility of making their own information technology decisions or should IT infrastructure be centrally controlled and managed. IT infrastructure is a major investment for the firm. If too much is spent on infrastructure, it lies idle and constitutes a drag on the firm's financial performance. If too little is spent, important business service cannot be delivered and the firm's competitor who spent the right amount will outperform the underinvesting firm. The decision either to purchase or IT assets or rent them from external providers is typically called rent versus buy decision. Cloud computing is a low-cost way to increase scalability and flexibility, but firms should evaluate this often carefully in light of security requirements and impact on business processes and workflows. In some instances, the cost of renting software adds up to more than purchases and maintaining an application in-house. Yet, there are many benefits to use cloud services, including significant reduction in hardware, software, human resources, and maintenance costs. Moving to cloud computing allows firms to focus on their core businesses rather than technology issues. The solution guidelines for these challenges can be total cost of ownership of technology assets and competitive force models for IT infrastructure investments. Total cost of ownership of technology asset. The total cost of ownership or TCO model can be used to analyze the direct and indirect costs and help firms determining the actual cost of a specific technology implementation. The components of total cost of ownership includes hardware acquisition, software acquisition, installation, training, support, maintenance, infrastructure, and downtime, space, and energy. The total cost of owning technology resource includes not only the original cost of your computer hardware and software, but also the cost of hardware and software upgrades, maintenance, technical support, and training. Many firms are turning to cloud computing in an effort to reduce their IT platform costs. In addition to switching to cloud services, firms could reduce their TCO through greater centralization and standardization of their hardware and software resources. Company could reduce the size of the information system staff required to support their infrastructure if the firm minimizes the number of different computer models and pieces of software that employees are allowed to use. In a centralized infrastructure, systems can be administered from a central location and troubleshooting can be performed from that location. Competitive forces model for IT infrastructure investment. A competitive forces model can address the question of how much your firm should spend on IT infrastructure, which include market demand for your firm's services, your firm's business strategy, your firm's IT strategy, infrastructure and cost, information technology assessment, competitor firm services, and competitor firm's IT infrastructure investment. Market demand for your firm's services. You make an inventory of the services you currently provide to customers, suppliers, and employees by surveying each group or hold focus groups to find out if the services you currently offer are meeting the needs of each group. Your firm business strategy. You analyze your firm's 5-year business strategy and try to assess what new services and capabilities will be required to achieve your strategic goals. Your firm's IT strategy, infrastructure, and cost. Examine your firm's information technology plans for the next 5 years and assess its alignment with the firm's business plan. Determine the total IT infrastructure cost. You will want to perform a TCO analysis. If your firm has no IT strategy, you will need to devise a one that takes into account the firm's 5-year strategic plan. 4. Information technology investment. Is your firm behind the technology curve or at the bleeding edge of information technology? Both situations are to be avoided. It is usually not desirable to spend resources on advanced technologies that are still experimental, often expensive, and sometimes unreliable. You want to spend on technologies for which standards have been established and ID vendors are competing on cost, not design, and when there are multiple suppliers. However, you do not want to put off investments in new technologies or allow competitors to develop new business models and capability based on the new technologies. 5. Competitors' firm services. Try to assess what technology services competitors offer to customers, suppliers, and employees. Establish a quantitative and qualitative measure to compare them to those of your firm. If your firm's service levels fall short, your company is at a competitive disadvantage. Look for ways your firm can excel at service level. 6. Competitor firm IT infrastructure investment. Benchmark your expenditures for IT infrastructure against your competitors. Many companies are quite public about their innovative expenditures on IT. If competing firms try to keep its expenditures secret, you may be able to find their IT investment information in public companies. SEC Form 10-K annual reports to the federal government when those expenditures affect a firm's financial results. Remember, your firm does not necessarily need to spend as much as more than your competitors. Perhaps it has discovered much less expensive ways of providing services, and this can lead to a cost advantage. Alternatively, your firm may be spending far less than competitors and experiences commensurate poor performance and losing market share. That's all for IT infrastructure and emerging technologies. My name is Maribel Coronacion. Thank you.